Please be advised that the views and opinions of the host and guests do not reflect those of the station, the management, and its network.
Hi guys, you're still watching Millennial TV. We're still talking about places na nag-exist before na ngayon wala na. So just have a question for you guys. Do you have a favorite place before na wala na ngayon? So let's start with MA.
Yun nga, yung shopping mall lang,
Shopping
na
mall.
wala na ngayon. Kasi ang mamahal na talaga eh. But, yung presyo doon ngayon, parang nasa online na rin. So,
Good.
I think, nag-adjust na rin yung mga tao. Like ngayon, siguro tumatanda na ako. Parang, may mga nagyaya sa akin mag-shopping, hindi na ako ganun ka-excited. Kasi feeling ko, kapag pumunta man
Gastos.
ako doon sa, like for example, department store, may kita ko yung product, and then nahanapin ko siya online, and then it's a lot
Ganyan
cheaper.
din
So,
ako.
I'll just buy.
Ganyan din ako, like cheaper alternative.
Comparison.
I'll just buy it online, di ba?
Oo.
So, isa yon. But yun yung mga malls dati na, katulad ni in Alabang, di ba, meron doon yung parang may playground pa sa gitna. So, I think
Festival.
hanggang ngayon nandun pa rin yun.
Festival ba yun?
Festival. I think nandun pa rin yun.
Yeah.
Kasi
Nandun pa rin.
nostalgic nga siya for kids. Pero kasi, di ba yung mga kids nga kasi ngayon, hindi na nga sila ma-playground,
Hindi na
more on
More on
mag-gadgets.
tablet.
Tablets, mag-gadgets na
Yeah.
sila. So, I think bilang na rin yung mga araw. So, yun nga, isa yun sa mga ano, kasi tayo, like, mga batang 90s, millennial. So, nakita natin kung paano nag-evolve yung technology. Nakita natin na kung paano
Yeah.
pakonti na ng pakonti yung mga playgrounds, mga public parks. Kasi nga, iba na rin yung mga hilig ng mga tao.
Yeah.
So, pero with the recent ano naman na napapansin ko, may mga binabalik din naman sila. Even in fashion, not just places, even in fashion, even in entertainment. Mas ako na-appreciate yung mga period films eh. Kasi
Period
parang I get to see what it's like to live in the 70s or in the 80s. Although magastos nga siyang gawin, like yung ginawa nga ni Chris,
Oo.
it's parang very nostalgic. That's the
Term.
word. Pero, yeah, how about you guys?
Ikaw,
Waki.
Waki.
You know what? As I was reading the script yesterday, yes, nagbabasa ng script. I was pondering on like the answers, and then I realized na do I really miss this place or do I miss the feeling that this place gave
Wow,
me?
lalim.
Ganun.
Kung nakaya.
Kasi yun nga eh, parang
Yeah,
etong
may memories.
prompter natin parang sa akin inassign, gimikan that you know na closed na. Wacky, 'di ba? So
Ang
ako
dami.
Parang
without
dapat kay MA yan.
no,
Go, go.
no.
Sige,
Nung
Wacky knows a lot.
Nung ano ko, wow, yung a lot. Actually, there weren't a lot back during my college days. Kasi, I remember, yung 4th Strip, ang nandyan lang nung time na yon was si Embassy, tsaka si Prince of Jaipur. There were a few pop-up bars here and there.
Yeah.
But basically, it was those two na pupuntahan nung mga tao.
True.
And this was a time na, honestly, I mean, syempre, clubs are a bit masikip and are a bit tight.
Yeah.
Pero, it's not like now na sobrang daming tao na,
Yeah.
back then, there was a certain crowd in clubs na alam mong, yeah, they're here for the music. Yeah,
Correct,
they're here.
correct.
And not that I'm judging people for where they go. I mean, you can go wherever you want. But there was a time na clubbing was just legitimate cool.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you knew that you would vibe with the people you were with in there.
I think
Yeah.
influence siya ng social media kasi. Like right now, parang people are, alam mo yung FOMO?
Do you remember
Alam mo yung
Temple?
Fear of missing out?
Ikaw, so ito talaga tatanong kasi bata pa sila masyado. Do you remember Temple sa
No,
Greenbelt?
where is, Greenbelt, I've never been.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yun yung isa sa
Ang natatandaan ko yung
first
Embassy
ones.
yan, na naging anchor yan, naging
I don't even know those clubs anymore.
Naging Privé yan, and then right now it's Nectar. So
Hindi ko alam.
nag-iba-iba siya kasi syempre yung mga clubs kasi may umay factor. This is what I learned from a friend na promoter. So sinabi niya, you know why they keep renaming or rebranding clubs or bars? Because may umay factor. Like parang, ang laki ng competition when it comes to bars. Like, merong Cubao, may Timog, may Poblacion, may BGC, may South. I don't know, meron ba sa South?
You know
Pero,
what?
Timog,
I'm gonna challenge that a little bit. Kasi nga, this was the time that nobody else existed. And I'm sorry if this is fake news pero ang alam ko, some of those clubs closed. Kasi yun nga, may mga
May mga rumble, yeah.
mga rumble na nangyayari. Which is
one
unfortunate.
of the reasons, may mga nag-aaway,
Oh,
may mga
talaga?
controversy.
Yeah.
Siyempre, it's a bad name na, di ba? Nasa paper na na parang doon
But
nag-aaway.
I would-
Especially if there are crimes
Mga
na,
VIP na nauupakan,
naganap,
di ba?
correct.
But I would like to think that these would have survived up to today if it weren't for those unfortunate incidents. I really think so.
Kasi
Kasi-
yun, isa yun sa mga gimmicks. Like, how about you, Chris, and like, ano pa yung parang mga iniisip niyo na parang you used to go to before, na right now hindi na available?
Ako naman, pag-usapan mga places, alam ko na out of place ako eh.
Yeah, being the homebody, ano ba to?
Hindi kasi,
My man, spitting today.
naalala ko lang nung bata ko, pag sumisilip ako sa bintana, nakita ko yung bubong, may mga umiikot. May
Ano
umiikot na
yun?
bilog.
Yun yung ano yun?
Hindi ba sa Benz yun?
Let's get it on.
Exhaust.
Exhaust.
Oo, parang yun yung mga
okay,
warehouse, di ba?
Tsaka yun, naalala ko yung pinupuntahan ko dati, yung sa cultural, yung nagre-rent ka pa ng bike.
CCP, yeah.
Ngayon, hindi ko alam kung
Right.
meron pang...
Yung
Oo.
yung dun sa...
It's either
Oo,
sidecar
yun.
or
Yung sidecar
meron
or
pa
single.
ata siya.
Ngayon, hindi ko alam kung may
Nakasagasa
ganun
pa
pa
ako
eh.
dun eh. yung dinadrive ko yung parang sidecar.
Buhay naman
Tapos
yung
may bata,
buhay naman yung
okay
sinasabi
naman.
mo.
Mga 10 miles an hour lang naman ako. 10 kilometers per hour.
Mamaya, arestuhin ka dito bigla. No?
Baka kaya nagsara dahil sa akin.
Wala na
Yeah,
siya ngayon.
nakakamiss
Wala
nga
na.
yun, yung mga ganung ano. Ano pa, in Manila kasi you grew up in Manila.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, para sa akin, hindi ko siya favorite place. Pero yung sabi nga ni Waki na parang hindi mo alam kung favorite place mo or na-miss mo yung feeling.
Yeah.
Alam niyo ba yung Harrison Plaza?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yung mall.
yeah.
Recently lang siya nag-close
Yeah,
a few
recent
years
siya
back.
close, yeah. Pero nalala ko nung bata ako kasi lagi kami pupunta doon para ipa-string yung guitar ko.
Right.
Oo.
Kasi pag naluma na yung guitar, kailangan mong palitan.
Yeah.
So, we would always go there. Never naman ako na-excite going there kasi medyo luma na nga talaga. Pero nakakamiss lang, parang ang hirap makapaniwala na nagsara na,
Yeah.
you know.
I think the last time I was there, parang college ata, tapos parang medyo creepy na nga siya. And then I felt na parang dinadaanan na lang to ng mga tao for may mga bibilhin lang. It's not a mall na parang you would want
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
to
Yeah.
have fun or to have selfie or anything like that because it's very luma nga. It's very luma.
Very...
Gano'n kaluma?
Konyo, girl.
Gano'n kaluma?
No, kaya nga ano ba siya ngayon? Hotel na siya or mall?
I'm not sure.
Di ba yung hotel dito across yung Intercon,
Right.
di ba they demolished
Right.
that and then ngayon parang may another mall na siya and then hotel or office space.
Meron pang isa yung Grand Central. Gawa ng mga cellphone, mga fake na cellphone.
Hindi ko
Ano
alam.
to, bandang
Ba-
taas? Area din
Bandang
ba to?
monumento.
Monumento,
Ah,
so
okay.
North. Alam mo, isa pa yan. Ang hirap din mag-commute dati. So marami akong mga hindi
Till
na rin
now.
nakita sa Quezon City. Pero speaking of luma, no, para makatawid na tayo sa
Yes.
meat
They're-
nung topic natin,
yeah.
no, and why we have our special guest, you know,
Yes.
carved
Ayan, guys.
out of clay, you know, blessed by God, special guest natin. Let's go luma like 14,000 BC if you wanna talk about places that don't exist. Kasi recently sa Netflix, I was watching this, I'm not sure if you wanna call it a documentary. I forgot the title, pero basically it explains that there were ancient civilizations. There could have been. So
Yeah.
sorry, hindi naman nila kiniklaim outright.
Allegedly?
There could have been ancient civilizations long before us na advanced na. Like,
okay.
what this means is, diba, for most of us, the accepted timeline of the world is that, diba, dinosaurs, everybody dies, cavemen, and then we developed into what we are today. But, yun nga, over the course of, eto nga may scientific evidence ito ngayon. So before kasi when you would talk about this, you would look stupid, and you probably still do. But this one kasi is kind of backed by architectural evidence na. And there's basically evidence to suggest that there are structures, whether on land or under the water, that would indicate that there was something advanced way before we existed. Something wiped that out like along the way. So,
Thousands of
oo.
years past.
The common theory is it's the flood, yung Noah's flood. Every myth, every religion has a version of a big flood. So that's where it gains some legitimacy for me. Na even science and religion, and if you go back 10,000 years, meron nga talagang ice age meltdown na na-record sa temperature ng planet natin. Which leads me to the question, ang haba nung setup, no?
Yeah.
What do you
I love the
feel-
dramatic build-up there.
Well, I appreciate that you appreciate it kasi I was really worried about how you guys would
Ay,
take
go
it
ahead.
pag nagkakaganito ako. But like, how do you feel about places like yun nga, Atlantis, na mythological places that
Mm-hmm.
as recent as the 90s, people think they didn't exist.
Mhm.
And now, there's
People
somewhat
are-
evidence to suggest na parang it might be real.
Yeah.
Adrian, you have 5 minutes before we end
Oy.
the second segment.
Well, I think I would like to think na that Atlantis existed. Yung sabi mo nga, if there's architectural evidence suggesting that. Pero taking in the context, diba, it was first mentioned by Plato, isn't it? So, what I thought of Atlantis at first was, kasi si Plato, diba, he's a very
Right,
big
right.
philosophical figure.
Mhm.
And
Sorry, can I cut you first before you ano? For the viewers at home, kaya binimension ni Adrian si Plato kasi if you're gonna talk about legitimacy, ang oldest record na surviving that kumbaga, 'di ba, we accept textbooks and Wikipedia and other
Yeah.
research sources as fact when we present it. The earliest known presentation of Atlantis as a fact came from one of Plato's writings. So, dun pa lang, why would Plato is respected as a philosopher? We practice a lot of his teachings. So, why would he put something there that doesn't exist? Kaya importante si Plato. Sorry, brother. Go ahead.
yeah, as I was saying, so, di ba, minention nga niya. So, it could suggest na either Atlantis existed or it's part of his philosophy. Kasi si Plato, he believed that there is a natural world, which is where we belong, where there are imperfect beings, and there is an ideal world. Something similar to an earth and a heaven. That's what he suggested. So, for example, if me as an imperfect being belongs to the natural world, in the ideal world, there is a version of me which is perfect. So, him mentioning Atlantis, you could think rin na either it really existed or Atlantis is his version of an ideal world.
Oh, okay.
Pero may proof ba?
What's ideal?
Sabi ni mga kami,
Well, I'm not
Ang proof natin for now, yun nga si Plato, sinabi siya. So parang again, you can argue na he might have been speaking lang as a metaphor. Pero yun nga parang a lot of what Plato says, we accept as either fact or an accepted philosophical argument. So Plato, in his writings, mentioned Atlantis. At the same time, again, ang tricky kasi sa topic na ganito is yung Earth natin, nag-iiba-iba ng shape and topography and over time. So, kung ano may nakikita sa world map ngayon, hindi yan laging ganyan.
Yeah.
So, again, this is sa science to this, I guess.
Yeah.
Pero if you rewind the clock back and, you put things where they were supposed to be and like, let's say, Atlantis was somewhere bandang north, bandang malapit sa Greece. Plato yan There's basically wreckage from everywhere na you would think, nah, it's from this area. But if you reconfigure how maps looked like back then, lumalabas nga na some of these wreckages would come from this origin point dapat.
Sila,
Yeah.
magkakadikit,
Oo,
di ba?
oo,
Parang
oo.
isa.
Which isn't really that far-fetched Kasi parang isipin nyo, kung sa world natin ngayon, di ba, may tsunami, lumubog yung Pilipinas, people would just forget about us. We would corals would grow in our cities, people would find us one day, but they would also have the same question, were there really people down here once upon a time? Tama ba? Align ba tayo ng ano?
Yeah.
I think it's
Oo.
really good when it comes to science kasi it's evolving, it keeps on researching, it keeps on changing. Hindi naman siya yung parang it keeps on revising. Kasi hindi siya yung katulad ng 'di ba pag holy book kasi na parang what's written there, that's it. Take it or
Yeah.
not, that's it. That's the truth, that's fact. For a lot of people, believers especially. But when it comes to science,
Malalim.
kaya ang daming revisions kasi
Yeah.
okay, may bagong evidence na lumabas. Okay, like 'di ba Pluto, the planet,
Yeah.
dust lang siya, so hindi siya planet.
Yeah.
Okay, planet pala siya. Okay, so balik siya.
Yeah,
So
I get
that's a good thing. That's what I appreciate about science because it's open-minded. I mean, it doesn't close its doors sa parang it's there, kainin mo yan. Kaya maraming
Yeah.
mga research na kailan na-release, year ganito, okay, outdated na yan. So same with, I mean, if we are studying about the past and about history, I think it's good na parang i-check natin, is it updated? Or, I mean, ano yung pinaka-recent na lumabas? I mean, not to the point na we are revising it, because we don't like history revisionism, but to the point na just to fact check na parang did it really happen? Does it exist? Alam mo yun, that's something na parang exciting. That's why we have scientists, we have ano man tawag sa kanila, archaeologists.
Yeah.
I am going to test how open-minded this group is when I interview our special guest Adrian with
When we
more
come back.
questions about the
Okay.
long-lost city of
Interesting.
Atlantis. So wag kayong aalis, Millennial TV will be right back.